All right, everybody, welcome to our meeting today. We have a large pod that is joining us remotely of their own free will. And so I'm just trying to make sure that I can see who's there for the decision wheel. I think I got it, but remember, if you're not here, you can't win. So you'll have to show them if they do win. And we're gonna do the pledge before we welcome our guests. And hopefully you can't hear my kids cackling in the background. I'm so sorry. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Oh, hold on. Let's let the guys stand up. They're official over there. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the nation for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's do a test here. Is Mike Stack at the cohort that's outside? Mike, do you want to lead prayer for a change? I can't hear him because he's muted. I'm just thinking that most people are over there. Lance got to put his eyes on.
Okay, Larry, our guest is going to lead us in prayer.
All right, our guest is going to lead us in prayer. I like it.
Okay. Dear precious Heavenly Father, God, thank you so much for your love and all your blessings, God. Thank you for the opportunity to gather together even in these limited times. For those having breakfast, I pray that you bless this food to our bodies and our bodies to serve you. And just thank you for this group and all that we do. Father, I pray that you continue with each one of us and keep us all in good health and safe and at peace. We thank you and praise you. In your precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you,
Good
Larry.
choice.
Good choice. Much.
Oh, he was freaking out.
Where do we send his membership application so he can sign up to do that every week? I'm just wondering if someone hand him an application. He's hired. All right. So welcoming of guests. So we have Larry, the mystery guest. Are there any other guests over there with you, Lance? No? Okay, just Larry. And then we have Aaron, who is joining us today from Kiwanis Children's Fund. He'll be our speaker here just in a second. Before Aaron speaks, though, because I know a lot of people wait to watch the speaker, I do want to make sure I give you two fundraiser announcements. Savor Charcuterie had reached out to the Dust Bowl Brewery regarding our beer and cheese fundraiser, and they declined to sell us beer in any form, at discount, at full price, they just said they couldn't do it. So don't worry, guys, I called Blaker. They're gonna get me a quote. It was the most silly thing I've ever heard. And I know we always prioritize working with the Dust Bowl, but they just nicely said no. And so we're gonna move on and get a new beer company so that we can sell tickets for that. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, that's going to be an item where you get to order a cheese board with beer for St. Patrick's Day weekend, and then you'll pick it up from a third-party location, or you can have it delivered to you by a Kiwanis member. And so that'll be a fundraiser coming up. And then our Seas Candy fundraiser is live. Looks like this. Isn't it beautiful? You guys love candy. If you would like sheets to place orders, because they have the little ordery thing on the back, please let me know. You can pick them up for me. I can send them to you in the mail. This goes till March 13th. In addition to us selling candy, the Action Club, CKI, and both of our Turlock Key Clubs are selling candy. For the Key Clubs, CKI, and Action Club, they are actually noting on the back that it's them, and we're going to give them their proceeds back. In addition, they're having a little contest amongst themselves to see who can sell the most, but of course, we're only encouraging them to sell to their own little pot of people, to try not to interact with strangers and those sorts of things. So I think it'll be a really close race. It'll just depend on whose members are probably the most active selling to their parents. There is a version of this that I have that has the full boxes of candy, toffee, and lollipops. You can also sell those if you are so inclined. These are great for clients. They're great for friends and family, great for your kids for Easter. You can just order from Allie if you don't want to sell any and you just want to buy a whole bunch of candy to help us as a club. Most of the items on the Easter list, we make 50% back on, and that money goes right back to helping kids in the community. So we would like to start giving out money again, and the only way to give out money is for you guys to help us earn some. So,
Allie?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there an electronic one that you can send me?
I sure can.
Thank you.
I'm gonna make a note, hold on. I get off these calls and then I have to watch my own video because I'm like, what happened? All right, got it.
Thank you.
No problem. So Aaron is our speaker today. He's from Kiwanis Children's Fund, and I'm gonna hand it over to him and mute myself.
Thank you so much, Ali. Could you enable screen sharing so I can share a PowerPoint?
Chris is actually going to enable that for you.
Chris, can you enable screen sharing?
Yeah.
Thank you so
Chris
much.
drives this whole thing every Friday. Let's all give Chris a round of applause. Yay, Chris. And
Thank
one
you so
for
much.
David, who attended the DCM for me last night with no notice because there's some sort of junior high parent teacher night. You guys are my heroes.
All right, can everybody see the denim background? Thumbs up to see it. Excellent, fabulous. All right, well, my name is Aaron Ketzenberger, as Ali said, and I am the Associate Director of Development for the Kiwanis Children's Fund. I'm very excited to provide an update to all of you on everything going on at the Kiwanis Children's Fund. So today we'll touch on who we are and what we do, how we serve the Kiwanis family through our grant programs, how we can be a resource to all of you, and we'll also touch on COVID and how we were part of the response to the pandemic. However, I'm getting a little ahead of myself because every presentation that we do in the Kiwanis Children's Fund starts with a moment of gratitude. If not for all of you, if not for your Kiwanis Club and all of you individual members and your desire to make your community a better place, there would be no Kiwanis International. And I know I speak for all of my colleagues when I say that we have the best job there is. We get to work with Kiwanians in service of children, doing something greater than ourselves. And that's just a tremendous blessing in our lives. And so on behalf of my team and everyone in International, thank you. Thank you for your goodwill and generosity and your being a part of the Kiwanis family. The Kiwanis Children's Fund, if you've not heard the name or if you're unfamiliar with the name, you might be familiar with the Kiwanis International Foundation. That's us. That's our old name. So in 2015, at the halfway point between the Eliminate project, sort of the middle of that 10-year span, we took a moment to look at ourselves and look inward. We took an assessment of who we are, what we do, how we talk about our programs. That was very key. We did a lot of focus group testing, and we realized that we needed to change our name. Foundation is through our focus group testing, we found is something that people that don't see as very active. They see it as a place money goes to sit and grow and not do much. And that's not who we are. The bulk of what we raise goes back out to Kiwanis clubs and districts every year. Also, if you're not familiar with Kiwanis, you may not know that our focus is children. And so we wanted to put kids central in our name. And so we changed our name, Children's Fund, and we also changed the way that we talk about our programs. But what, sort of, it makes sense to take a little step back for a second because there are a lot of foundations in the K family floating around. And you may be wondering, what is it that the Children's Fund does that our club foundation or our district foundation doesn't do? So I think it benefits us to look at all of those foundations and see sort of where they fit in the puzzle here. Club foundations are a great resource for clubs of any size, particularly clubs with recurring signature projects. So if you have a project that you do every year, like a big event, a big fundraiser, a big service day, a fair, a festival, those kinds of things are really supported by foundations at the club level. First and foremost, your club members can get a tax deductibility benefit by giving directly to the club's foundation. But also, if you're part of your community and looking to secure sponsorships or even grants from local nonprofits or businesses, oftentimes they want to give to a 501c3 so that they can write it off as well. It's just also a great way to store your money and have that locally and nimbly so that if something comes up, some funding need or some project you want to take on, that you have those funds available at the local level. Almost every district in Kiwanis has a district foundation, and the district foundations usually have an established relationship with another nonprofit. Sometimes that's a children's hospital, sometimes it's a trauma center, sometimes it's the Ronald McDonald House. Whatever that relationship is, it's a great way to rally all of the clubs and all of the members in that district and unite them around one cause or a series of causes that are specific to that district. Also, district foundations typically have grant programs for new clubs, for club projects, for scaling a club project, or in some cases, in some places in the world, disaster relief funds are available at the district level as well. And so where does the Children's Fund fit in? Well, we sort of see ourselves as that third level, taking on projects that need to be global just by design. So we have a club grant program. Of course, we have clubs all over the world, so we need to be worldwide. We also take on programs that are bigger than any one district foundation could take on, and partnerships like with UNICEF through IDD and Eliminate, which we'll talk more about here in a second. But we really see ourselves as the connector, the amplifier, and sort of the worldwide umbrella foundation that serves all of you. What makes us unique is that we follow a community foundation model. If you're not familiar with a community foundation, usually the community foundations are specific to one geographic area or one minority group. That could be, a city or a greater metropolitan area. It could be a religious minority, an ethnic minority. Really, the point of a community foundation is to meet the needs of that community. And so obviously we're a foundation. I am a fundraiser, so we raise funds from and grant funds to members of that community. That's pretty obvious. But this is the most important thing I'm going to say today. And so I hope if you hear nothing else, please hear the following. We exist to serve you. We provide resources to and service to the members of that community. And so please, if you hear nothing else, know that you have somebody in Indianapolis that will pick up the phone when you call and answer your questions. And if your question is not a specific children's fund or fundraising question, please know that I can connect you with anybody in the office. So you do not have to go through that 1-800-Kiwanis labyrinth. Just give me a call. Let me know how I can help. We'll also talk more about specific resources at the end of the program and other ways that we can be of assistance. But we serve through 4 cause areas. Everything that leaves the Children's Fund leaves it in the form of a grant. And those grants go in support of these areas. And those are service leadership programs, club and district service projects, iodine deficiency disorders, and the Eliminate Project. And we'll touch on all of these briefly. SLPs, service leadership programs, are some of the most recognizable things we do in the Kiwanis family. I heard Ali rattle off a list of all of the SLPs that you serve, and they are just some of the most inspiring and engaging and uplifting people I've ever had the pleasure to meet and work with. If you work with an SLP club as an administrator, you know really the energy that they bring. And these servant leaders, from grade school kids all the way to adults living with disabilities, are a shining light in Kiwanis, and we support them through the Children's Fund. Specific to Key Club and Circle K, who have international boards just like Kiwanis does, their boards meet and they direct the disbursement of funds. And so we are that investment partner for them for the Youth Opportunities Fund and Tomorrow Fund for Key Club and Circle K respectively. They have club grant programs, they have ongoing strategic priorities, and when they tell us, disperse this fund, send that there, we send that out in the form of a grant. But more than just an administrative partner, we are an active partner in helping make their good ideas a reality. So when Key Club and Circle K come to us with an idea for a program like Spark or Breakthrough, or the most recent one, the Global Leadership Certificate, we want to say yes to those ideas. And so we are proud to have invested tens of thousands of dollars in Key Club and Circle K driven initiatives to help these servant leaders drive the programs that they want to see and grow and reach more people through service. But we know that the bread and butter of the Kiwanis experience is at the club level through club service projects. And we are really excited. As a part of our rebrand back in 2015, we also reworked our entire club grant program. Gone are the days of pen and paper applications where you send it in, cross your fingers, and hope that you're selected. That's just not good customer service. So from the very beginning, everything is online. So you only have to enter it once. It's all captured on a found-it software that also increases access to staff. So from the moment that you submit a letter of inquiry saying, hey, I'm interested in a grant, you have a sense from staff and a chance to have a dialogue with staff members about whether or not your project is a good fit for funding. What projects are good fits for funding? Hands-on service, driven by Kiwanians, projects that are sustainable and ongoing and directly impact children, and projects that involve other community partners and help you hang your hat and say, this is who Kiwanis is in this community. That's the kind of projects we want to solve and support. And so as a part of our renovation of this whole campaign, we increased the number of grant cycles a year from 2 to 3. And we also redid all of our resources. So if you're interested in more, I'd be happy to send you the link to our website and the guide to club grants that we wrote. We have a whole host of information in there, but that club grant guide is excellent. It's written in plain English. It's not full of technical jargon. And it's written with the specific projects that Kiwanis clubs are already doing in mind. So it's meant to be useful. But this year was a year unlike any other, and hopefully unique in that regard. And the COVID-19 pandemic really ground everything to a halt in March of last year. Everything went on hold at the Children's Fund. We took a pause on all of our fundraising and grant making efforts to really survey the community. And so we, staff at International, took on a calling blitz campaign where we called every club president in their respective language all over the world. I got the honor to talk to a bunch of people in Jamaica and South America. It was really exciting to hear that despite the pandemic, clubs were still serving their communities in ways that made sense to them. There were still clubs out there trying to meet the needs of kids, especially as kids faced a majority of the disruption from this pandemic, being forced to learn at home. And so we were really excited and wanted to be a part of that solution. And so we quickly created a new grant program late last spring for the COVID-19 response, focused on short-term grants, quick turnaround grants for clubs doing service during this pandemic. $2,500 at a time, and it was pretty unrestricted. As long as you were serving kids and being safe about it, you were eligible to apply. And so we did a short fundraising campaign, and we were really honored by the response. We raised over $100,000 in just under 3 weeks, and we're able to grant out $150,000 to clubs all over the world. In fact, we hit every continent except Antarctica, and there aren't a lot of Kiwanians down there. But if you want to organize some penguins into a club, I would be happy to get you the materials you need. But seriously, we saw a real diverse wealth of projects, lots of food programs. So one of the things that I think that we're seeing with this pandemic is it's revealing the cracks in the existing safety net. And I think a lot of people underestimated how many students get 1 or 2 meals a day from their school. And so those kids, if they're not able to go to school and receive that food, food insecurity becomes a problem in their life. And it's one of the things that we're still seeing the implications of. And so lots of programs around getting food to kids, lots of programs around making masks, creating hand sanitizer, distributing PPE. But I think my favorite program was clubs in rural Georgia that got together and worked with local municipalities to provide high-speed internet access at public parks and institutions. One of the things that we take for granted in parts of the world, especially in cities, is high-speed internet access. But if you live in rural parts of the world, you might not have access to reliable, strong internet. And because of that, kids having to study off, in their own homes online would get left behind. And so to prevent that, we, these clubs worked really hard, and it was just really inspiring to see. One example of a club that took its program online in the pandemic is the Kiwanis Club of Music City, Tennessee. This photo was obviously taken right before the pandemic hit, but they received a grant from the Children's Fund for a program dedicated to helping children deal with traumatic events in their lives through reading and learning. And it was very popular and very successful. Here's a photo of them reading to the children. But when everything stopped, they said, well, we want to keep this access for kids and make sure that they still have the opportunities to receive this program. And so they took everything online. They made modules available online. They had the reading to kids recorded so that kids could continue to learn. It's these kind of projects that we are honored to support, which is, direct support for children, a strong and clear impact led by the Kiwanis members. We'll switch gears now and talk briefly about our 2 global causes for children, IDD and the Eliminate Project. If you are a longtime Kiwanian, as in from the mid-90s forward, you will probably remember our work with IDD. IDD, iodine deficiency disorders, is the leading preventable cause of mental disability in children. And it is caused simply by a lack of enough iodine in your diet. Iodine is a micronutrient. You need about a teaspoon's worth in your entire life. But if you don't have it for whatever reason, it can cause a whole host of problems. Problems running and walking, goiter problems, issues with the thyroid, which used to be very common even in the United States. But most importantly is mental disability and kids not being able to reach their full potential. So back in the mid-90s, Kiwanis International partnered with UNICEF to take on iodizing the world's table salt. That's the solution. It's simple, it's easy, and we in the developed world have had it for decades now. And so we committed to raising $50 million, and we eventually ended up raising over $100 million in gifts and money from the US government to iodize salt around the world, because while we take it for granted, it was not as common in the 90s and early 2000s. So in some parts of the world, we were able to increase iodization rates 60%, and in some communities, we raised the IQ by over 13 points. That is the work of the IDD campaign. What you may not know, and what many Kiwanians are unaware of, and shame on us for not telling this story, is that we still support this work. We still have funds endowed and funds available, and we still receive funds annually for IDD. And so as long as there is a children's fund, as long as there's a Kiwanis, you'll be hearing about our work off of the IDD campaign and the continued success and sustainability, because one of the key things on this global health stage is maintaining that success long term. And so just last year, we granted $300,000 to UNICEF to work in Morocco and Myanmar, 2 countries where iodization rates had backslided in recent years. And so talking about IDD in terms of long-term sustainability really leads us to the Eliminate project. One of the things that people ask all the time is, when is it over? Well, it will never be over. We're at the end of the 10-year campaign known as the Eliminate project, but we will continue to remain supporting the work of eliminating maternal and neonatal tetanus until no babies are dying of MNT. And then once we've reached that goal, we will continue to sustain that work in perpetuity by keeping funds available, just like we had with IDD. So again, it's been 10 years of MNT work, so I'm sure all of you are very familiar with the Eliminate project, why we're doing it, and its goals. And so I wanted to just share some top lines from the field, the most recent numbers we have, and some pride points that I think you'll be really excited to hear about. So first off, this beautiful cutie is from the Democratic Republic of Congo, which is the most recent country to come off the list of at risk of MNT. With the DRC coming off the list, we are at 12 countries left of MNT. And one of the things that I think people think about when they hear, oh, 12 countries are left, they think the entire country has endemic MNT issues, and that's not the case. In some countries it is, but in fact, in many of the remaining 12 countries, they've been able to do partial validations. Those partial validations mean that a certain portion of the country is validated as MNT-free, even if the entire nation is not. I'll give you an example, Pakistan. 52% of the population of Pakistan lives in the Punjab province. So that's where the bulk of the major cities are. And that part of Pakistan has already been eliminated as MNT free. So even though Pakistan is still at risk as a whole country, more than half the population are no longer at risk. And it's really the outlying rural mountainous areas that they still need to reach. Since 1989, when MNT was first identified as the silent killer of children around the world, the mortality rate has decreased 96%. In 1989, 800,000 babies were dying from a disease that we had had the vaccination for almost 50 years. Today, that number is 25,000. It is still not zero, but that is a tremendous decrease and a very fast decrease on the global health stage. And in fact, since 2011, when we joined the fight, it decreased 52%. So even in that short 10-year span of time, we've been able to make a huge difference in the lives of kids around the world. 154 million women have been vaccinated from 47 countries since all over the world, but 47 countries have eliminated MNT. 154 million women is about half the population of this country. And I think that's incredible, because what we're doing is not just vaccinating those women, not just protecting their children against MNT, we are strengthening the health systems of these countries, making the whole population more robust and resistant to disease. And our partnership with UNICEF and UNICEF's work on the ground in these countries has a whole cascade of impacts, not the least of which is the training of volunteers, the education and awareness around proper prenatal and antenatal care, advocating for proper sanitation and hygiene in clinics. All of these things are building a better world for kids, thanks to the work that we're doing with MNT. And I really hope that you're as proud of this progress as I am. Finally, since 2011 alone, 27 countries have eliminated MNT. And what's more, none of them have gone back on the list of at-risk. In fact, in 2018, 4 countries independently asked the World Health Organization to revalidate them as MNT-free, and all of them were. This campaign works, and it works long-term. And part of the reason it does is because it is so rigorous. So when a country is validated as MNT-free, when it officially comes off the list, you can trust that workers were down there going door to door, checking people's vaccination records, asking if anyone in the community had been sick with tetanus, if anyone had died from tetanus, really to make sure that when they eliminate the disease from the country, that it really has been eliminated. So finally, we'll touch on some resources that the Children's Fund offers to clubs and donors and anyone that needs them, because again, we work for you. So first off, I'm a fundraiser. We have a team of professional fundraisers. We can absolutely help with fundraising strategies. If your club has a fundraiser that's not really meeting the needs or not letting you do the service that you want to do, If you have old fundraisers that nobody wants to do anymore or have an idea to get a new one off the ground, if your fundraising plan isn't meeting your annual needs for service, if you've never had a fundraising plan before and would just like to know what that looks like, let us know. We can work with you, your board, your fundraising chair, whoever it is, to really make sure that your fundraisers are doing what you need them to. We also, if you have opened a club foundation or are interested in starting a club foundation, we have a library of resources available that I would love to direct you to. We have staff experts that can help you walk through the problems that you might face. If you get an angry letter from the IRS, let us know. We're happy to help. We know that's not always the easiest thing to do on your own. Grant seeking is a full-time job. There are grant writers professionally for a reason. And so if it's not one of our grants that you're interested in looking for, if it's perhaps another community grant that you might be applying for, let us know how we can help. We can help you sort of navigate the needs and help position your programs in a positive way. And then finally, as you're experiencing here in real time, we love being speakers and offering presentations. Typically, our team would travel 1 week a month, every month of the year, and see clubs and individuals, donors, and prospects. And we really miss doing that. And so these virtual presentations are the highlight of my week personally. And so we have a whole host of opportunities. These are just an example list of some of the offerings we have ready to go. But if you have questions, or if you want a presentation on something that's not listed here or something tailored to your club's needs, let us know. We can certainly put something together. And we can also present just to the board if it's more of a board question versus the general club. But we're just happy to present and educate and share if you ever need it. And then we'll just wrap up by reminding you we are on the social medias. We are on Facebook and Twitter. And if you'd like to keep in touch with us, please follow us there. Fun fact about Kiwanis newsletters: if you unsubscribe from one Kiwanis newsletter, it unsubscribes you from all of them. And so if you're interested in getting just Children's Fund updates, or if you want to manage your subscriptions, you can go to kiwanis.org/subscribe. And that way you can click and choose which emails you get each month. And we only send ours monthly. We don't want to spam your inbox and just give you the top lines and the most important stuff, but really do hope you'd keep in touch with us. We're doing some awesome work in the Children's Fund. And with that, I will stop sharing my screen and open it up to any questions. Does anyone have any questions?
I'm excited. I'm a brand new president and I did not know some of that stuff. So that's exciting.
I'm so glad to hear that, Allie.
Does anybody else have questions?
I don't have questions, but same thing. Like, I had no idea. That's awesome.
You're not alone. That's part of biggest. People say, oh, you're a fundraiser, you must be asking for money all the time. It's like, aha, I do education all the time. That's what we do, because we believe that if people know what they're a part of and people realize the programs that we're doing, that they'll want to invest, as a club, as a donor, as a district, because new members don't know necessarily all of the wonderful things we're doing internationally and all of the things that we are a part of. I mean, I got to travel to Zambia and see this firsthand and talk to some of the UNICEF people that monitor salt iodization. And we are still known as the salt people in some of these countries. I mean, they still see us as the, iodizer of salt. And if you ever get the chance to come to Indianapolis and check out international headquarters, it's not as fun when no one's working there right now. We're all from home, but we have archives and all kinds of awesome artifacts about our salt campaign, including like Morton salt cans with our logo on them. It's just so cool.
Very cool.
That is cool. Is there a way to sign up to go with Kiwanis International to some of these places and help if our club had members who would be interested in doing that?
That is a great question. And I don't unfortunately have an answer, because everything has ground to a halt with UNICEF, because they are focused right now on the COVID-19 response. So just a fun little fact, UNICEF, single largest purchaser of vaccines in the world. And because of their unique role in that capacity, they have what's called the cold chain set up in all of these countries. And so you can think of the cold chain as like their logistical service network, because vaccines have to stay cold. And so in some of these countries, Pakistan's a great example, they're mountainous and deserty and very hard to reach. And so they have people with refrigerated backpacks, refrigerated trucks. They're part of what UNICEF does is buy refrigerators for small communities so that they can keep these things cold. And so as we roll out COVID vaccinations to not just our country, but all countries around the world, UNICEF is going to play a huge part in that. And so I don't know when we'll be able to get back to site visits, hopefully in the next 24 months, but I can certainly keep you in the loop on all things UNICEF and share that as I hear them.
That was like my favorite part of the last service organization that I was with. I went to Mexico with their service group. So I was like,
Mm.
you have a version of that where I go to Zimbabwe or someplace, I would go. All right, Stan, it looked like you had a question. No? Is Stan frozen now? Heavens to Betsy. He's muted and frozen. What do we do now? We miss you, Stan. When we
The joys of modern technology, right?
you know,
Aaron, thank you so much. This was absolutely fabulous.
Oh, my
Yeah.
pleasure, Valerie. Thank you.
It's
we
just
can't
like,
hear Stan. Let's give him a second. He legitimately raised his hand and everything like a gentleman. And there he is. Did you have a
I
question?
was just gonna say, some years ago, a fella came and talked about Eliminate program, and he had some T-shirts, and I bought one of the T-shirts, and I still wear it sometimes, and it's probably the only T-shirt I have that invariably when I wear that shirt, somebody will ask me, "What's that all about? What is that?" Gives a good chance to explain what's being done about it, because most other shirts you wear, nobody ever asks, or they have a bad negative comment or something, but everybody wanted to know what that is.
I'm so glad to hear that. That's we had some really great material produced for the Eliminate project. I wish we could bring some of it back, but there's not even any in the archives. When I started, I dug through to see if there were any T-shirts left, and there are not. Few wristbands though, the old Eliminate wristbands you might remember.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, Aaron, you did a fantastic job, and
thank you.
we do record this and send it to the rest of our members. So if we get a question in email, I'll let you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our other guest today is, of course, the Lieutenant Governor. Lori, do you have any updates you want to give?
Well, we elected a new lieutenant governor to take my place last night. So I'm excited. Not that I haven't enjoyed this job, because this has just been a great job. But we did Robert Hessman last night. He is going to be your lieutenant governor for next year. So whoever your incoming president is, we'll look forward to working with him. He's done a great job this year with our club, keeping our club just consistent and everything the same. So even though we're meeting on Zoom, everything else is the same as far as what we do. And it just feels normal. You know, we all need that normal feel. So anyway, we did that. We are looking forward to, they announced at the mid-year convention this last weekend that they are anticipating that the convention in Salt Lake City will take place. We are hoping, we all hope for that normalcy. So that is June 23rd through the 26th. You should be seeing stuff coming out regarding that. And then the district convention is in San Diego, August 19th through the 22nd. So if you're interested in going to the district convention, you can go down to San Diego. And that's pretty much all I got for today. I just decided to pop in today just to say hi.
We love having you whenever you pop in to say hi.
Yeah.
All right. You know what time it is. It's time for the spinning wheel.
Allie?
Yes.
I don't know if Lori wants to add this, but they are seeking volunteers for the time after that, Lieutenant Governor, for after that. Is that correct, Lori?
Yes, we did not get a lieutenant governor elect, so we are still looking for somebody to fill that shoe after Robert. And we always try to do both. We try to do the lieutenant governor elect and designate both. And so we are still looking for somebody for the following year. So if Valerie wins the election, you would be serving with Valerie. So that'd be kind of cool. Anyway,
and I'm gonna put a big plug in, because this division is probably one of the most amazing divisions I've had the opportunity to be a part of. That's why you shanghaied me into club number 9. But I think that it would be awesome if the lieutenant governor elect comes out of this club. You're one of the largest, strongest clubs in the division, if not the region. So I think someone really should step up. And so I look at Allie, I make eye contact. I look at several people in that room that doesn't really exist and make eye contact. But I would love to have someone from our club when I win, because I'm thinking positive. I'm thinking very
I'll
positive.
have you know that not 1, not 2, but 5 people from my club have asked me. And I am currently the president of 2 other organizations as well. So if something changes this year and someone else wants to be the president of something else, I might be able to take on more responsibility, but right now I can't. So I appreciate the stalker-like support. You guys are my
Hey.
fans and my biggest heroes, but I'm a little book solid at this exact moment. But I will let you know if that changes.
I think it's important to use every tool in the toolbox,
Right.
Docker included. I did want to say thank you to you all because you guys donated to the CNH Children's Fund fundraiser, Red, White, and Bruised this past weekend. And it was the most successful event we've ever had. We raised $63,000.
Wow.
And so thank you for the gift card donations and everything you did, because that makes a huge difference. So
I bet on something and won something.
woo!
I don't think we have any Key Club, Action Club, or CKI updates this week. Nobody emailed me anything, so we're good there. Let's have a raffle. Now we're gonna do that part where Allie, who can make Instagram things but can't share her screen, tries to share the screen without breaking the computer. Oh, first try this time. I can be taught. All right. So the first thing that we have is Trina Wally, a year ago, almost to the day to today, went to Barcelona and she brought back a gift, as we are supposed to do for the raffle. And then it was a year and we haven't had a real meeting. And so she brought it to me yesterday so we could raffle it off. I'm frozen, but I'm still here, I promise. All right, let's give it a spin here. Alrighty. Spinning in slow motion today. Sorry, my internet connection must be having a heck of a time. Valerie won a coffee mug with stirrer. Congratulations, Valerie.
Thank you.
I'm going to write your name on your prize and then we'll move on to prize number 2. All right, everybody's favorite parts when I come down here and I delete someone and then you all panic that you're not going to win. Let's go. All right. For number 2, we have another bottle of wine. I might be giving out wine all year. When more wine came, Mike says he has more wine also, so we'll be giving out wine every week. Buy a ticket now. Larry, who's always wanted some wine. Woohoo. I think Larry's at that faraway meeting, isn't he? Someone see Larry?
He was.
Yeah. We're going to assume that Larry's at that meeting. He's usually at that meeting. All right, next we have a box of chocolates donated by Grizzly Nuts. If Mike wins his own nuts, that always makes me like laugh. So I just want you to know that Vern won a box of nuts. Is Vern there? Lance, do you have a Vern? Give me a thumbs up. Vern? No Vern. I can't see.
Yes, Vern is there. I saw him.
Woohoo! All right, that's what I'm just saying we set rules. I got to be able to, eyes on the prize, my friends. All right. And $5 winner, you're not a loser. You're actually a winner because we're not in person and no one will fine you. What is happening here? The wheel is possessed. David won the $5. David, man. David, keep your $5 again.
That was $100 winner, right?
$5. $5.
Damn it. Okay.
So this is a great way, obviously, that we keep raising funds for our club. And yeah, David, put a Post-it note on your own head because I don't have if you haven't won a prize yet, you get a thing that looks like this when you pick up your prize, because this is how I track my life. So I think David's making fun of me because yesterday he delivered stuff for me. This is how we raise money right now in small amounts, along with the fundraisers that we're doing. We do have a 50-50 that is on the last weekend or Friday of the month, which would be next week. And so if you would like to participate in this raffle or the 50-50 raffle, you pay David. Stan has a question. What's up, Stan?
Yes. Do you have my name on a prize from a week or so ago that you said you were going to bring by?
I do. I actually tried to get David to take it to you yesterday because I'm so far behind, but I will get it to you, I promise.
I promised my wife a secret present for Valentine's Day. And she kept saying, where is it? Where is it? I said, it's coming any minute. And
Uh-oh.
never got it.
David
She
was
heart-
rude and
she
wouldn't
was heart-
deliver it for Allie? Jeez.
You know what, though? He did deliver to Vern, so he did take
Yeah,
half my.
blah, blah, blah. He could have delivered to Stan.
I mean, I really do think we should give David credit. Yesterday, I misread a DCM email earlier this week, and I thought it was either myself or Larry had to go, and it was myself and Larry had to go. And so David, with 5 minutes notice last night, jumped on a Zoom meeting so I could go to a parent meeting because I was double booked. And so he's completely forgiven for not delivering anything he didn't deliver.
No, that's not. I should have done it.
I was like,
I would have been glad to come by and get it.
you could come by and get it if you want to, Stan. If not, I will bring it by tomorrow when I'm out doing my errands and drop it off.
Well, yeah, I know where you go.
You know where I live.
Do I need a trailer or anything?
No, it's this big. Here, look, they all sit right here on the ledge. I promise. See, this big. Smells good though. It's making my living room.
Oh,
lovely.
okay.
All right, so that's the end of our prizes and the end of our meeting. We're only 10 minutes over today, which is not that bad because we had 2 guest speakers, a raffle, and 2 fundraisers to talk about. You guys are fantastic as always. Have a lovely weekend. And next week we will be back with Pat Portman with Friends of the Turlock Library to show us a video of how the construction is going and talk to us about how they're going to decorate and put things in the library once it opens this summer.
Also, next week is our monthly 50-50. So far, the prize is $80. If you want in, we're doing, excuse me, $20 entries. You can enter multiple times. So, I know Melinda wants to enter for a couple $100, right? That would give her quite a few entries. Just feel free to contact me and I can either come by and get your money or something, figure something out.
Remember, you're not gambling, you're donating.
That's right.
You're not here to win money, you're here to give money to children.
Give it to the admin fund so we can do more great things.
For those of you who were not here for the meeting where we talked about this, the reason that these little things have come up that we're doing the smaller fundraisers is because we have lost Maytini this year. And so any money that we can gather through fundraising, we would like to continue to give out money this year when we can and to be able to support scholarships and youth activities. And we do get donation requests at every single board meeting, which we have been floating up until this point. So we would like to go back to giving out money. That was our favorite part. And also that's why we're having a lot of speakers who ask you to do service opportunities. I can't as a club sign us up to do service, but that doesn't mean that you can't sign up to do service if you hear about something in the community. So, all right, that's about it. Chris, why don't you turn off recording, and then if anybody has a question they want to